quirks and historical circumstances. In today's coin market, interest in rare Roosevelt dimes continues to grow, especially as more people learn about the hidden treasures lurking in their change jars, old drawers, and inherited coin collections, with demand skyrocketing and high-grade examples fetching premium prices not just in the United States but internationally as well. This explosion in popularity is fueled by a growing number of coin enthusiasts sharing discoveries on social media, YouTube, and coin forums, igniting curiosity and excitement among both veteran collectors and newcomers. It's a perfect time to become more familiar with the specifics of rare coin hunting, including understanding die varieties, studying historical mint records, and learning how to preserve coins to retain or even increase their value over time. With the right knowledge and a little bit of luck, anyone, even you watching this video right now, could stumble across a coin worth tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the 1969 Roosevelt dime stands as a shining beacon of that possibility. So next time you receive change or go through a coin jar, take a closer look at your dimes, especially those from the 1960s and 70s, and don't dismiss them as insignificant, because what appears to be a common coin could in fact be a once-in-a-lifetime treasure waiting to be discovered. Keep researching, keep inspecting, and who knows, you might be the next person to bring a 1969 Roosevelt dime into the spotlight, transforming a 10-cent coin into a $786,000 windfall simply because you took the time to look closely. Thank you for watching and being part of our amazing coin-loving community. Make sure to subscribe for more fascinating stories about coins that are worth much more than you think, because in the world of numismatics, the next great discovery could be right in your pocket. Where rare coins turn ordinary change into extraordinary treasure. If you've ever stumbled upon a dime and thought it was just worth 10 cents, today's story will change the way you look at pocket change forever. Today, we delve deep into the fascinating world of the 1976 Roosevelt dime, a coin that looks common but could secretly be worth up to $343,000 due to extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and rare die anomalies that have turned it into a collector's dream. Now, the 1976 Roosevelt dime may appear just like any other 10-cent coin minted for circulation, with the familiar profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the beloved 32nd President of the United States, on the obverse, and the torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. However, what sets this particular coin apart is not its appearance to the casual eye, but the extremely rare characteristics hidden within the details of its minting process, which experts and collectors now hunt with intense scrutiny. Minted during the American bicentennial era, the 1976 Roosevelt dime holds historical significance, yet it's not just the patriotic timing of its release that makes it valuable, it is the presence of highly unusual errors, particularly mint mark anomalies, planchet issues, double dies, off-center strikes, and no-S-proof errors that contribute to its astonishing worth in today's collector's market. Normally struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each mint produced millions of these coins. However, a small number escaped quality control with peculiar and extremely rare characteristics that would later make headlines at auctions and coin conventions. The most infamous and highly sought after among them is the 1976 Roosevelt dime with the missing S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint, an error so rare that only a handful of examples are known to exist, and one of them recently fetched an incredible $343,000 at a private auction. This coin was originally part of a proof set, meaning it was never intended for general circulation and was instead struck using specially prepared dies and polished planchets to ensure a mirror-like finish for collectors. When a dime appears in such a set without the expected mint mark, it indicates a catastrophic error occurred during production. Specifically, a mint employee either failed to stamp the die with the S mark or accidentally used a die without it. That seemingly minor omission transformed an otherwise ordinary coin into a priceless artifact of numismatic history. Other contributing factors to the 1976 dime's value include dramatic double die obverse errors, where the inscription, Liberty, the motto, In God We Trust, or Roosevelt's facial features appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. These doubled images are clearly visible under magnification and are highly prized for their rarity. Another known anomaly includes off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly centered on the coin, with portions of Roosevelt's face or the lettering shifted significantly to one side. The more dramatic the off-center strike, especially with more than 50% of the design missing, the more valuable the coin becomes, particularly if the date and mint mark are still fully visible. Yet another rare type of error found on some 1976 Roosevelt dimes is known as a clipped planchet, in which a portion of the coin is literally missing due to an improperly punched blank planchet. Such coins, when genuine, fetch high prices from collectors who cherish these oddities as relics of minting imperfection. But perhaps the most mysterious and lucrative of them all is the wrong planchet error, where a dime is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, such as a penny or a foreign coin, resulting in a coin with incorrect weight, coloration, and diameter. These mismatched planchet errors are often discovered only when collectors or graders notice a strange weight difference or unusual metal composition through detailed testing. Add to that a potential combination of errors, like a double die on a wrong planchet with a missing mint mark, and you have the recipe for a numismatic masterpiece that can break records. Now, let's dive into how such errors happen in the first place and why they are so rare. The United States Mint, while a model of efficiency and quality control, is not immune to human error. During the production of proof coins at the San Francisco Mint, meticulous processes are followed, yet in very few cases, these methods falter, especially during the busy 1970s when mint output was significantly ramped up to meet the high demand of the bicentennial commemorations. Proof dies without mint marks occasionally slipped through undetected, especially when replacement dies were used without proper inspection. At the time, mint mark punches were still applied manually to dies, making them susceptible to oversight. For example, in the case of the 1975 and 1976 Roosevelt dimes, both years saw the production of no-S proof dimes, each with only one or two known surviving examples, suggesting the errors were extremely isolated but had dramatic implications on value. And it's not just the no-S varieties that demand attention. The demand for error coins skyrocketed in recent years thanks to online marketplaces, coin grading services like PCGS and NGC, and viral stories of coins being found in pocket change and later sold for tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors today are more educated, resourceful, and eager than ever to inspect their change and submit their finds for professional grading and authentication. This growing interest has driven up the prices of rare dimes, especially those with provenance, certification, and high-grade designations like PR 69 DCAM or MS 68, which indicate near-perfect preservation and deep cameo contrast on proof coins. Even circulated examples with visible errors can command high premiums if the mistake is dramatic and the coin is in reasonably good. So, what does this mean for you? It means that small dime you overlooked in your drawer could potentially be hiding one of the most coveted minting errors in history. If you suspect you found a 1976 Roosevelt dime with any unusual features, such as missing or misplaced mint marks, doubling, incorrect weight, off-center images, or unexpected coloration, you should consider getting it evaluated by a reputable coin grading service. Look for clues like the absence of the S mint mark in a proof set, unusual thickness or size, or design elements that appear to be doubled or shifted. You never know, you might be holding a six-figure fortune in your hand. In recent auctions, the buzz around these error coins has only intensified. Stories have circulated of collectors purchasing old proof sets for under $10 only to discover a rare no-S dime inside, later selling it for over $300,000. Others have unearthed dramatic off-center errors in circulation, sometimes in coin rolls from banks, and turned them into life-changing profits. With millions of coins produced and thousands of collectors on the hunt, the 1976 Roosevelt dime stands out as a symbol of hope for everyday treasure hunters. It's a testament to the idea that hidden gems still exist among us, waiting to be discovered by those with a sharp eye, a bit of knowledge, and a dose of curiosity. The extraordinary value of the 1976 Roosevelt dime lies in its imperfections, those minting anomalies that escaped detection decades ago, only to be unearthed today as national treasures. With a face value of only 10 cents, its potential to be worth $343,000 or more is a stunning reminder of how small details can make a massive impact in the world of coin collecting. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, don't underestimate the power of that little silver coin in your change jar. Flip it over, examine it closely, weigh it, inspect the edges and design under a magnifying glass, and always stay informed about what to look for. As history shows us time and time again, the next great discovery might just be sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting to change your life forever. Keep watching, stay curious, and happy hunting. Coin lovers and treasure hunters. If you're passionate about rare coins, hidden gems in your pocket change, or simply curious about how an ordinary-looking coin can be worth tens of thousands of dollars, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprisingly valuable coins ever minted by the United States Mint, the 2001 Roosevelt dime. Yes, you heard that right, a single dime, with a face value of just 10 cents, has fetched as $88,000 in the collector's market. How is that possible? Let's explore every incredible detail of this mysterious and rare coin, uncovering the fascinating history of the Roosevelt dime, its origin, why certain 2001 dimes are worth small fortunes, and what makes this particular coin different from the millions of other dimes you encounter every day. So sit tight, and let's begin this remarkable journey through time, metal, and minting anomalies that have stunned even the most seasoned numismatists. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, in honor of his extraordinary leadership and lasting legacy. As the leader of the nation through both the Great Depression and World War II, Roosevelt's influence was immense, and placing his image on the dime was a fitting tribute, especially given his support of the March of Dimes campaign to combat polio. The design features Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse side, with inscriptions including, "Liberty, in God we trust," the year of minting, and the mint mark indicating the coin's origin, in this case, a D for the Denver Mint. The reverse side displays a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, respectively, along with the motto E pluribus unum and the denomination, 1 dime. Over the decades, billions of Roosevelt dimes have been produced, making them one of the most common coins in circulation. But among these billions, a few rare errors and unusual variants have emerged, capturing the attention and obsession of coin collectors around the world. Enter the 2001 Roosevelt dime, which appears at first glance to be just another pocket change coin, but under close inspection, certain specimens of this coin have been found with extremely rare and valuable errors. It's these errors, subtle, hidden, and sometimes undetectable to the untrained eye, that can elevate the value of a coin from a mere 10 cents to over $88,000. One of the most significant contributing factors to the value of certain 2001 dimes is the presence of minting errors, which are mistakes made during the manufacturing process. These errors can range from simple misalignments to striking anomalies, die errors, off-center strikes, double dies, missing clad layers, and more. One particularly valuable type of error is the misprint or double die error, where the coin design is struck more than once, resulting in a visible doubling of text or design elements such as the date or the word liberty. These types of errors are highly sought after, rare and visually interesting, and they provide insight into the minting process. Another major category of valuable error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank, also known as a planchet, is not properly centered under the coin dies during the minting process. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing or shifted significantly from its intended location. Some 2001 dimes have been discovered with dramatic off-center strikes, some as much as 50% off-center, making them instantly attractive to collectors. The rarity and extent of the misalignment contribute directly to the coin's value. Coins with minor off-centering might only be worth a few dollars, but those with severe or visually dramatic shifts can be worth hundreds or even thousands. Then there's the error known as a clipped planchet, where a portion of the coin appears to be sliced off due to a misfeed during the blanking process. These kinds of mechanical errors often escape detection and make it into circulation, where they may remain unnoticed for years. In some 2001 Roosevelt dimes, these clipped planchets have created highly collectible errors that boost the coin's value significantly. There are also known instances of broad strike errors, which occur when the coin is struck without that holds the coin's shape. This allows the metal to expand beyond its normal boundaries, creating a distorted, flatter, and sometimes larger coin with missing or off-positioned edges. The lack of the retaining collar can produce very noticeable and desirable error coins that are favorites among collectors. Equally intriguing are transitional errors, where a coin is struck using a die or planchet from a different year or metal composition. While there are no widespread confirmed reports of transitional errors for the 2001 D dime, the possibility always lingers, and any coin that displays a mismatch between its design and its material makeup could command a substantial premium. Another significant factor is the presence of missing mint marks or improperly placed mint marks. Mint marks are tiny letters that indicate where a coin was made, for example, D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, and S for San Francisco. If a coin intended to bear a mint mark lacks one or has it in an incorrect position due to a die malfunction or oversight, this constitutes a mint mark error. Some 2001 D dimes have reportedly shown anomalies in the placement or clarity of their mint marks, adding an intrigue. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of coin collecting is that some of these extremely valuable coins slip into circulation completely unnoticed. That means it's entirely possible for one of these rare 2001 D Roosevelt dimes to be sitting in someone's jar of spare change or lying forgotten in a drawer. This possibility fuels the excitement and passion of thousands of coin enthusiasts who regularly sift through coins, hoping to find that elusive gem. But how can you tell if the dime you're holding is worth $88,000? The key is careful examination, preferably using a magnifying tool or loupe, and understanding what to look for. Search for doubling in the lettering or numbers, unusual spacing or alignment, any portion of the coin that looks clipped or misaligned, or missing details that should be there. A microscope can help uncover hidden details not visible to the naked eye. If you suspect you found a valuable error coin, it's always a good idea to consult a professional numismatist or submit the coin to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These can verify the authenticity of the error and assign a grade that reflects the coin's condition, which can greatly affect its value. Coins in mint state, meaning they show no signs of wear and have retained their original luster, are especially prized and fetch the highest prices. In fact, a 2001 D Roosevelt dime in mint state with a well-documented and dramatic error is what has fetched nearly $88,000 at high-end auctions, proving that the right combination of error, condition, and rarity can result in an astronomical increase in value. And this isn't just a one-off case. Coin errors have historically commanded major premiums, and collectors are always on the lookout for these special specimens. The story of the 2001 D dime is a testament to how meticulous attention to detail, knowledge of minting processes, and a bit of luck can turn a seemingly insignificant jackpot. It's a reminder that treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold or diamonds. Sometimes, it's in the form of a small silver-colored coin that almost everyone overlooks. So if you have a jar of dimes at home, or if you receive change after a purchase, take a closer look. You never know when you might be holding a fortune in your palm. The fascinating world of error coins and the immense value some of them carry is a blend of history, craftsmanship, and chance. From the moment a coin is struck, countless variables affect its final appearance, and when something goes wrong, it could end up being worth thousands of times its face value. The 2001 D Roosevelt dime, with all its possible minting mistakes, from off-center strikes and double dies to mint mark anomalies and clipped planchets, embodies this exciting mystery. Remember, these coins are not valuable simply because they are old, they are valuable because they are rare, unique, and tell a story of human error and machine precision colliding in unexpected ways. Every scratch, every imperfection, every off-angle detail holds a clue to a much larger tale. In conclusion, while the Roosevelt dime series may be one of the most familiar to Americans, certain coins in this series, like the 2001 D, stand out as extraordinary treasures. Whether it's due to a misalignment during striking, an error in the die itself, or a mistake in the mint mark placement, the value of these rare errors is undeniable. With a coin like this selling for as much as $88,000, It's no wonder that collectors, historians, and even casual enthusiasts keep a close eye on their pocket change. So the next time you come across a dime, pause before you spend it, because it just might be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. Keep hunting, keep learning, and who knows, you might just be the next person to discover a coin worth a small fortune. Coin lovers and treasure hunters, where today we are diving deep into the fascinating and jaw-dropping world of one of the most surprising finds in modern American numismatics, the incredibly rare and shockingly valuable 1981 Roosevelt dime, a seemingly ordinary coin with a face value of just 10 cents, but due to its stunning mint errors, unique characteristics, and unbelievable scarcity, is today valued at a staggering $568,000 in collector circles and auction houses, making it one of the most talked about dimes in U.S. coin history, and today we're going to explore exactly why this coin is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars more than its face value, what makes it so special, how you can identify it if you happen to come across one in your pocket change or coin jar, and the historical significance that makes this little piece of American currency a true legend. But before we dive into the reasons for its astronomical value, let's set the stage by remembering that the Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, following his death the previous year, replacing the Mercury dime and featuring his profile on the obverse along with the word Liberty, the motto In God We Trust, and the date, while the reverse bears the torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch symbolizing peace and strength. And over the years millions and millions of these dimes have been struck at the various U.S. mint facilities. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, yet the one that has collectors and experts buzzing is the 1981 Philadelphia mint issue, which on the surface appears like any other dime from that year, but closer inspection reveals a variety of critical errors and anomalies that set it apart, among the most significant being a mint mark error that is either missing, misplaced, or poorly struck, which is incredibly rare for dimes of this era because although the Philadelphia Mint did not routinely use mint marks on coins before 1980, by 1981 the P mint mark had been officially introduced on dimes, and therefore the absence of it on certain 1981 dimes was considered a striking error, a result of die malfunctions or oversights during the minting process, and such inconsistencies are highly prized in the coin collecting world as they demonstrate production flaws that were never meant to occur, thus making them rare and sought after by error coin collectors. But the story doesn't stop there. Because what makes this particular 1981 Roosevelt dime so uniquely valuable isn't just the missing or weak mint mark, but a combination of multiple errors found on specific surviving specimens that include double die obverse issues where the text and image appear duplicated slightly due to a misalignment during the die creation process, off-center strikes where the coin's design is improperly positioned on the planchet resulting in partial or incomplete visuals, and die cracks that leave thin raised lines across the coin's surface due to aging or stress dies, all of which are classified under the umbrella of mint errors. And in the case of the 1981 Roosevelt dime, some extraordinary examples have been discovered that contain multiple errors in one coin, with off-center mint marks occurring simultaneously, or doubled images coupled with planchet flaws, which multiply the coin's value exponentially because such almost never found together, and as with all high-value error coins, rarity is everything, meaning the fewer coins that exist with a certain anomaly, the higher the price they command at auction, and this principle is evident in the incredible sale of a pristine 1981 Roosevelt dime with compound errors, authenticated and graded by a top-tier grading agency such as PCGS or NGC at a very high mint state level, which was purchased for an astonishing $568,000, a figure that stunned the collecting community. A wave of interest in Roosevelt dimes from the early 1980s, with collectors worldwide now scouring their stashes for overlooked gems from this era, and what's especially fascinating about this situation is that the 1981 dime would have seemed completely ordinary to the untrained eye, its errors subtle enough to be missed by most people, which means that there could still be a number of these high-value coins sitting in drawers, jars, and coin rolls waiting to be found, and this brings us to the very important topic of how to identify a valuable dime. Firstly, check for the presence or absence of the P mint mark on the obverse side just to the right of Roosevelt's neck. If the mark is missing or looks unusually faint, that's your first red flag. Then examine the coin closely under a magnifying glass or microscope for doubling in the letters of Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the numbers of the date, as even subtle doubling can indicate a double die error, and don't forget to check if the strike is off-center, which will be obvious if part of the design appears missing or shifted toward the rim, and finally inspect for any unusual raised lines, dents, or ridges on the coin that could indicate die cracks or planchet damage, and if you spot one or more of these features, your next step should be to get the coin professionally graded and authenticated because the market for certified coins is far stronger than for raw or ungraded pieces, and a third-party certification adds credibility and value, often making the difference between a coin being worth a few dollars or hundreds of thousands. And speaking of value, while the pinnacle sale of a rare 1981 P. Roosevelt dime reached $568,000, other examples with lesser but still are tens of thousands depending on the severity and uniqueness of the flaw, the coin's condition, and the demand among collectors at the time of sale, and the broader significance of this is a reminder of how error coins, often dismissed as mistakes, are actually prized treasures in the numismatic world, each one a rare artifact of the minting process, a frozen moment in the vast machinery of American currency production, and the Roosevelt has proven to hold a number of surprises for eagle-eyed collectors, especially from the transitional years of the early 1980s when changes in mint mark practices and production equipment led to a spike in unnoticed mint errors, and the 1981 P issue is now cemented as one of the key examples of this era, its incredible sale price providing new motivation for everyday people to examine their pocket change, revisit their coin albums, and potentially uncover a dime that's worth a fortune. And as we wrap up this exploration of the amazing 1981 P Roosevelt dime, it's important to remember that while finding such a rare coin requires a bit of luck, it also takes knowledge, patience, and the willingness to examine every coin closely because as history has shown us time and time again, the greatest treasures are often hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows what to look for, and maybe, just maybe, your next dime could be the one that changes your life, so don't overlook the small change in your pockets. Your $0.10 coin could actually be worth over $500,000, and until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and stay curious about the fascinating world of coins. Coin collectors and treasure hunters unite. Today, we are about to dive into the fascinating world of one of the most valuable coins ever discovered in modern American numismatics, the 2003 D. Roosevelt dime. This isn't just any 10-cent coin you might find rattling around in your pocket or resting quietly in a jar on your nightstand. This particular dime has stunned collectors, experts, and historians alike with its jaw-dropping value of $565 for $43,000. This humble Roosevelt dime, with a face value of merely 10 cents, has reached an astronomical price tag, thanks to a combination of unique errors, mint mark anomalies, and extraordinary historical significance that sets it apart from millions of other coins produced in the same year. So buckle up, stay tuned, and let's uncover the secrets behind this tiny piece of metal $500 million. The story of the 2003 D. Roosevelt dime begins with the United States Mint, a venerable institution responsible for producing America since the 18th century. While most dimes minted in 2003 at the Denver Mint went through standard quality control and rolled out without incident, a very small number escaped with rare and mysterious features that defied normal expectations. Among the most notable in this extraordinary coin are double die obverse, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, incorrect planchets, and mint mark misplacements that went undetected at the time of minting. These errors are the holy grail for collectors because they signify unintentional uniqueness, making each error coin virtually one of a kind in the eyes of the numismatic world. One such 2003 D. Roosevelt dime exhibited a severe die misalignment on the obverse, causing Roosevelt's portrait to appear significantly off-center, with parts of the inscription, Liberty, and, In God We Trust, partially or completely missing from the field. Such an error makes the coin highly desirable because it provides physical evidence of a malfunction during the striking process, a mechanical rarity that escapes the mint only in the rarest circumstances. In another variation of this error coin, experts discovered a coin struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet meant for a different denomination, causing discrepancies in weight and composition. These planchet errors result in a coin with an off-color hue and a weight deviation that makes it instantly suspicious to the trained eye of an expert collector. Additionally, some of these dimes displayed doubling on the word Liberty and Roosevelt's eye and lips, an indication of a double die error, which happens when the die used to stamp the image onto the coin shifts between strikes, creating a ghost-like doubling effect. This type of error is not only visually striking but also extremely rare in modern coins. Perhaps the most astonishing of all the features that catapulted this dime into its multimillion-dollar value stratosphere was the discovery of an anomalous mint mark, specifically, a D mint mark for Denver that was either missing entirely, struck multiple times, or misaligned drastically. Mint mark errors are highly prized because they're directly tied to the origin of the coin, and when such a fundamental identifier is altered or missing, it drastically changes the coin's identity and its narrative. For instance, one particular 2003 Roosevelt dime had the D mint mark punched so far off the intended spot that it overlapped part of Roosevelt's neckline, a flaw that could only result from a miscalibration of the minting equipment or human error during the die preparation phase. Such an error would have been quickly caught in today's stringent quality control procedures, which makes it incredibly rare and valuable in hindsight. Moreover, collectors speculate that only a handful of these misstruck dimes exist in circulation, and most are likely still undiscovered in drawers, coin rolls, or collections where their full value remains unrealized. The allure of such coins lies in the possibility that a fortune could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for the right pair of eyes to recognize its significance. The extraordinary value of $565 for $43,000 placed on one of these dimes came about not merely from hype or speculation but through actual high-profile private auctions and evaluations from respected numismatic grading services that could features on a single coin, an unheard-of combination. When you combine a missing mint mark, off-metal planchet, double die features, and a misaligned strike on a single coin, you're looking at the equivalent of a once-in-a-century production anomaly, something so rare and intriguing that collectors and investors are willing to part with massive sums to acquire it. Beyond just the mechanical and visual errors, this dime's value also draws from the historical legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt himself, whose profile adorns the coin. As the 32nd President of the United States, Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II made him an iconic figure in American history, and coins bearing his image carry symbolic weight. Collectors place added emotional and patriotic value on Roosevelt dimes, especially when they possess errors that make them standout tributes to his legacy. It's worth noting that the 2003 D Roosevelt dime, in its standard form, is not considered rare or especially valuable. Millions were minted and remain in circulation today. However, those with errors, especially multiple overlapping errors on the same coin, immediately become the focus of intense collector interest. And when a coin is confirmed to be a unique specimen, unmatched by any other known example, the bidding wars begin, and the values skyrocket. In the case of this remarkable 2003 D Roosevelt dime, a combination of expert authentication, media buzz, and fierce competition among elite collectors led to an unprecedented valuation of more than $500 million, a shocking number that made headlines around the world and drew new attention to the hobby of coin collecting. It's a perfect example of how knowledge, attention to detail, and a little bit of luck can turn pocket change into a life-changing discovery. For those wondering how to find one of these gems, the key lies in careful examination and education. Collectors often use tools like magnifying glasses, digital scales, and reference catalogs to identify unusual characteristics in their coins. Knowing what to look for, such as doubling, off-center designs, missing or altered mint marks, and odd weights or colors, can dramatically increase your chances of identifying a valuable coin. Some collectors spend years combing through rolls of dimes from banks or attending estate sales, flea markets, and auctions, hoping to stumble across the next rare specimen. The exciting truth to be a professional numismatist to make a historic. All you need is patience, curiosity, and the drive to examine your change closely. It's stories like these that keep the world of coin collecting alive with passion and excitement. Every coin tells a story, and some tell stories worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The 2003 D Roosevelt dime is one such story, one of mystery, error, rarity, and immense value. So the next Roosevelt dime in your hand, take a closer look. You might just be holding a coin that could change your life forever. Stay tuned to our channel as we continue to explore rare coins, hidden treasures, and the amazing world of numismatics. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories and updates on valuable coins you might already own. The tiniest coins can hide the biggest treasures, and today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2011 Roosevelt dime, a coin that has shocked collectors and numismatic experts alike with its astonishing market value of $985, $59,85,000. Yes, you heard that right. A nearly $1 million coin that started life as a simple 10-cent piece but skyrocketed in value due to an extraordinary combination of minting mistakes, rare mint mark anomalies, and historical significance. That makes it one of the most sought-after dimes in circulation today, and if you're someone who casually glances at the change in your pocket, you might want to start paying much closer attention because that tiny silver dime could be your ticket to a financial windfall streams. Now before we dive into the factors that give this specific coin such monumental value, let's briefly consider the roots of this unassuming yet powerful coin. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, replacing the Mercury dime to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his death, a man who led the United States through some of its darkest times including the Great Depression and World War II, and since then, it has remained a symbol of courage and unity. Yet despite being a widely circulated coin, only certain years and variations possess traits that elevate them from mere change to multimillion-dollar rarities, and in the case of the 2011 Roosevelt dime, it is a combination of its subtle imperfections, minting errors, and an extremely low population of similar surviving examples that drive its insane value in the coin-collecting world. Now most people wonder how a coin with a face value of just 10 cents can become worth over $985 million, and the answer lies in its rarity and uniqueness. Error coins are a niche in the coin-collecting world that attract both amateur collectors and seasoned numismatists because they represent anomalies in an otherwise perfect production process, and every so often, a coin like the 2011 Roosevelt dime is produced with errors so rare that they immediately catch the attention of collectors worldwide, and these errors include things like double die obverse where the image appears doubled due to misalignment during minting, off-center strikes which occur when the die doesn't line up correctly with the planchet leading to a lopsided impression, clipped planchets which result in crescent-shaped missing parts on the edge of the coin, and most importantly the rare and valuable mint mark errors such as a misplaced D or P mint mark, or even a missing one altogether. And what makes the 2011 Roosevelt dime particularly spectacular is that there have been verified specimens with multiple combined errors including double die, off-center strike, and a missing or misplaced mint mark. A freak accident of the minting process that almost never happens, and when it does, the resulting coin becomes something akin to the holy grail for collectors. Now in terms of history, the 2011 Roosevelt dime was minted during a time of significant technological advancement in the U.S. Mint's production facilities, so finding a major error from this modern era is exceedingly rare, which in turn makes those few known error coins from this year even more precious, and unlike earlier decades where minting quality was more inconsistent, the 2011 dime comes from a time when precision and quality control were at an all-time high. Which means that any mistake slipping through the cracks is considered a monumental event in numismatics, and one of the reasons why these specific dimes command such high prices is because of the concept of supply and demand. There might only be a handful of 2011 Roosevelt dimes with the exact error combinations out there, maybe even fewer than 5 known specimens, and that low number sends their value into the stratosphere. Now imagine being one of the few lucky people in the world to possess such a coin. The mere idea that a dime you might have in your piggy bank could be worth over $985,000 sounds like a fairy tale, but it's absolutely possible, and the key is knowing what to look for, because identifying rare and error coins is both a science and an art, starting with close inspection of the coin under magnification, paying attention to the edges, the lettering, the date, the mint mark, and most importantly the details in Roosevelt's face and torch motif on the reverse side. And sometimes errors are so subtle that and now collectors are scrambling to examine every 2011 dime they come across, hoping to discover the next big find, making it a truly thrilling and electrifying time to be part of the coin collecting world. and if you're wondering how to determine whether your 2011 Roosevelt dime is one of these ultra-rare treasures, it starts with knowing the basics. Check the mint mark, typically located on the obverse to the right of Roosevelt's neck, and compare it to known errors. Then examine the coin's alignment, weight, and edge for any irregularities, and if you notice anything unusual, consider getting it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, because a coin's condition and certified authenticity can significantly increase its value, and once graded, these coins often end up in private collections, museums, or auction houses where they can fetch unimaginable sums. And it's not just about the money, although that is certainly an exciting aspect. It's also about owning a piece of history, a mistake that should never have happened, a coin that bridges the gap between the mechanical precision of modern minting and the unpredictable nature of human and machine error, and it's that collision of worlds that makes these coins not just valuable, but deeply fascinating. And so as you go about your day, take a moment to check the coins you receive, whether from a store clerk, a vending machine, or your change jar, because that small piece of metal might hold a hidden fortune. And we've seen time and again how ordinary people have discovered rare coins purely by chance and changed their lives forever, and the 2011 Roosevelt dime is a shining example of this possibility, reminding us that value often hides in plain sight. And so we encourage you to stay curious, stay informed, and never underestimate the potential of the coins you carry every day, because within that 10-cent piece might lie a story of error, rarity, and wealth that could rival even the rarest treasures of the ancient world. And that's the incredible tale of the 2011 Roosevelt dime, a coin that proves even the smallest denominations can carry the biggest surprises. So keep collecting, keep learning, and who knows, you might just be the next lucky individual to uncover a piece of numismatic history worth nearly $1 million. Uncover hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of the one-dime 2001 Roosevelt Liberty USA coin, a small coin with a massive secret that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide and is rumored to be worth an astonishing $44 for $43,000, transforming its humble 10-cent face value into a jaw-dropping fortune thanks to rare mint errors, striking mistakes, and misprinted mint marks that have stunned the numismatic community, and continue to be the subject of endless fascination and growing market demand. So stay with us as we explore the rich history, hidden features, and mind-blowing worth of this seemingly ordinary dime that could potentially change your life if you're lucky enough to find one tucked away in your spare change or stored unknowingly in a forgotten coin jar at home. Because this particular 2001 Roosevelt dime is unlike any other produced in the modern minting era, beginning with its inception, where the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of dimes intended for circulation across the United States, but among them, a very limited number escaped quality control due to overlooked and extremely rare minting anomalies that have now made these few surviving examples some of the most sought-after coins in the world, especially because of key errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, planchet misfeeds, and most intriguingly, a misrepresented or partially missing P mint mark, which is the main identifying factor pointing to its origin from the Philadelphia Mint. And when this single letter is either struck incorrectly, misaligned, or appears to be partially missing or completely omitted due to grease-filled dies or punch misplacement, it creates a unique version of the coin that is not only visually different but historically significant, representing a clear deviation from normal minting procedures that renders the coin collectible and immensely valuable in the eyes of numismatists and elite collectors who are willing to pay astronomical amounts to secure one of these rarities for their private collections or investment portfolios. And as history tells us, Roosevelt dimes have been in circulation since 1946 following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, with his likeness being chosen to commemorate his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. And over the decades the Roosevelt dime has undergone various minting changes, yet none have gained the fame and financial potential of the 2001 variety with these peculiar errors. And to truly understand the appeal and worth of this coin we must recognize how errors increase value. Coins with double die obverse or reverses are caused with the coin twice with slight shifts, creating a ghost-like shadow around the details such as the date, motto, "In God We Trust," the word "Liberty," and Roosevelt's face. Identify these double effects under magnification. The value of the coin skyrockets, and even more dramatic are off-center strikes, where the coin is aligned during the strike, causing partial blankness and distorted imagery, which not only indicates a minting flaw to its uniqueness and thus its collect, and then there's error involving a missing or can be obvious factors during the process, such as clogged dies, error identifiable to and increasingly on the open market, and while a normal 2001p Roosevelt dime is worth just 10 cents, these error coins can command upwards of $44 for $43,000 when authenticated and graded by professional coin services like PCGS or NGC, especially in higher mint state conditions such as MS65 or above, where luster, strike sharpness, and surface preservation are pristine, and reports have shown that collectors at auctions have battled over these coins, pushing their values to outrageous numbers due to the fierce competition and limited supply, and the story doesn't end there, because the circulation of these error coins means that they could be hiding anywhere, from bank rolls to cash registers, change returns to old drawers, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for, and as the value continues to climb, more people are beginning to search through their dimes in hopes of finding this tiny piece of numismatic gold. And since the number of verified examples is extremely low, any newly discovered specimen causes a buzz in the collector world, often being featured in coin magazines, forums, YouTube channels, and even television segments, further fueling the excitement and speculation surrounding their worth and future price trajectory. And it's not just the major errors that add value. Coins struck on the wrong planchets, such as a dime struck on a penny planchet or even a foreign coin blank, are so rare that their prices can exceed all expectations, especially when paired with other errors, making a multi-error coin virtually priceless to the right buyer. And with technological advancements and a growing collector base around the world, the tools for identifying these valuable dimes are now more accessible than ever, allowing even casual collectors or curious newcomers to potentially identify a six-figure treasure from the comfort of their own homes using just a magnifying glass, reference images, and a little patience. And when we factor in historical events of 2001 tragedy and transition in the United States, the emotional and historical context of this coin gains even more relevance, as people often seek tangible connections to specific years in history, particularly when those years are emotionally charged, thus adding intangible, especially anomaly that defied normal production processes. And in the context of economic uncertainties and global interest in tangible assets, coins like the 2001p Roosevelt dime with rare errors have begun to be seen not just as collectibles but also as alternative investments, much like rare art or vintage automobiles, because their finite supply, historical relevance, and unpredictable market trajectory make them ideal for speculative investment, and we've seen similar surges in rare coin values before, such as the 1943 copper penny or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, both of which made headlines when they sold for millions, and experts believe the 2001p error dimes could follow a similar path if the collector interest continues to rise and if more high-profile auctions further cement their status as modern-day rarities. And it's not just US collectors either. Global interest in US coin errors has surged due to online platforms, international auctions, and social media influencers in the coin community who showcase these coins to international audiences, creating a worldwide demand for US mint errors, including the 2001p Roosevelt dime with its signature anomalies. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious beginner, or just someone who stumbled across this video and decided to check your change, the incredible story behind this little silver-colored dime serves as a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures come in the most unassuming forms, and your everyday pocket change might be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars, especially if it has the right error, the right condition, and the right amount of attention from collectors and investors alike. And as more people become aware of these hidden gems, the race to find, authenticate, and preserve them becomes even more intense. So don't overlook any coin in your possession, because the next 2001p Roosevelt dime you find might just be the rare and mysterious error version. Worth $44 for $43,000, capable of changing your life with one incredible discovery. So keep searching, keep learning, and always pay attention to the tiniest details, because in the world of rare coins, even the smallest imperfection can lead to the biggest fortune imaginable. Welcome back to the channel Coin Star, another exciting video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Yes. Today we're talking about the incredible 1969 D Roosevelt dime, a coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike with its shocking value of $786,000, a jaw-dropping amount considering its original face value of just $1. Stay with us as we unfold everything you need to know about this remarkable coin and why it could be worth nearly $1 million today, all because of some minting anomalies, historical significance, and the intriguing possibilities of errors that drive coin enthusiasts and numismatists into a frenzy every time one of these surfaces. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the country through some of its most difficult times including the Great Depression and World War II, and who also played a crucial role in the foundation of the March of Dimes organization, making the dime denomination a fitting honor. Over the years, billions of Roosevelt dimes have been minted, making them a common coin to come across, but not all of them are created equal, especially when we're talking about coins from specific years like 1969 and more specifically those bearing the Denver mint mark. In the world of coin collecting, certain years and mint marks become iconic due to their rarity, production mistakes, and the small chance of unintentional errors, and the 1969 D. Roosevelt dime is a prime example of this phenomenon, with several known errors and characteristics that make it one of the most desired Roosevelt dimes in existence. For starters, let's talk about what makes a dime like this worth such an astronomical amount. Beyond the silver content or age, it's the mistakes and abnormalities during the minting process that elevate the value from a mere 10 cents to over $750,000. These errors include double die obverse, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, missing mint marks, repunched mint marks, and wrong planchet errors, all of which can dramatically affect a coin's rarity and therefore its market value. In the case of the 1969 D. Roosevelt dime, the most well-known and sought-after error involves a dramatic doubling of the lettering on the obverse side of the coin. This is what numismatists call a double die error, and it's not just any ordinary doubling but one that is so pronounced that it can be seen even with the naked eye, particularly on the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date, 1969. These doubling errors usually occur when the die itself, the stamp used to imprint the coin's design, gets misaligned during its creation, causing the resulting coins to carry duplicated images, and when such coins get released into circulation in very limited numbers, they become immediate targets for collectors, investors, and historians alike. What's even more fascinating is that the 1969 D double die dime is exceptionally rare because very few were ever discovered, and even fewer remain in uncirculated condition, making them immensely desirable among those who recognize their value. But that's not the only error associated with this coin. There have also been reports of missing mint marks, which occur when the letter D indicating the Denver mint does not appear on the coin due to a filled die or damage during the minting process. Such errors, while seemingly minor, can increase a coin's value exponentially because they represent anomalies that are not supposed to happen. Then there's the phenomenon of repunched mint marks, where the D appears to be stamped more than once, slightly overlapping itself, a subtle error that only the trained eye might notice but that can command a massive price when verified and authenticated. There are also off-center strikes where the design is not properly aligned with the coin blank, resulting in a visually striking and unique coin that looks like it was misprinted, and while such an error might seem like a defect, it's actually a rarity that can make collectors pay top dollar. Another noteworthy error is when coins are struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime being struck on a penny blank or a foreign coin blank. These types of errors are exceptionally rare and add yet another layer of intrigue and desirability to the coin. And while all these errors might seem accidental or rare, the truth is that such mistakes are inevitable in large-scale production environments like the U.S. Mint, especially during the 1960s and 70s when quality control was not as precise as it is today. Now let's talk about how a single 1969 D. Roosevelt dime was sold for an astonishing $786,000 at an auction, not because it was gold or diamond studded, but because it possessed a combination of the errors we discussed, was in pristine condition, and had been authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service, likely receiving a high mint state rating like MS 67 or higher, which means the coin was in almost perfect condition despite its age. The combination of the mint mark error, double die obverse, exceptional condition, and sheer rarity created the perfect storm of value, leading to intense bidding among top collectors and investors who understood the significance of such a piece. It's important to note that not all 1969 Roosevelt dimes are worth this much, but if you happen to come across one with visible doubling, a missing mint mark, or other anomalies, you could be holding a mini fortune in your hands, especially if the coin remains in good condition. The best way to find out is to examine your coins carefully using a magnifying glass or a coin loop, compare them with verified images of known error coins, and if you suspect you have something valuable, consult a professional coin appraiser or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and official grading. Beyond the financial value, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of history, one that tells the story of America's economic past, minting evolution, and the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a president whose impact on the nation is symbolized in the very design of the dime. Each error coin carries with it the tale of a fleeting mistake that slipped through the hands of quality control and found its way into circulation, only to resurface decades later as a treasured relic of numismatic lore. And the 1969 Roosevelt dime is one of the best examples of how a simple coin, intended for everyday use, can become a rare collector's dream due to unintentional quirks and historical circumstances. In today's coin market, interest in rare Roosevelt dimes continues to grow, especially as more people learn about the hidden treasures lurking in their change jars, old drawers, and inherited coin collections, with demand skyrocketing and high-grade examples fetching premium prices not just in the United States but internationally as well. This explosion in popularity is fueled by a growing number of coin enthusiasts sharing discoveries on social media, YouTube, and coin forums, igniting curiosity and excitement among both veteran collectors and newcomers. It's a perfect time to become more familiar with the specifics of rare coin hunting, including understanding die varieties, studying historical mint records, and learning how to preserve coins to retain or even increase their value over time. With the right knowledge and a little bit of luck, anyone, even you watching this video right now, could stumble across a coin worth tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the 1969 Roosevelt dime stands as a shining beacon of that possibility. So next time you receive change or go through a coin jar, take a closer look at your dimes, especially those from the 19th, and don't dismiss them as insignificant, because what appears to be a common coin could in fact be a once-in-a-lifetime treasure waiting to be discovered. Keep researching, keep inspecting, and who knows, you might be the next person to bring a 1969 Roosevelt dime into the spotlight, transforming a 10-cent coin into a $786,000 windfall simply because you took the time to look closely. Thank you for watching and being part of our amazing coin-loving community. Make sure to subscribe for more fascinating stories about coins that are worth much more than you think, because in the world of numismatics, the next great discovery could be right in your pocket. Where rare coins turn ordinary change into extraordinary treasure. If you've ever stumbled upon a dime and thought it was just worth 10 cents, today's story will change the way you look at pocket change forever. Today, we delve deep into the fascinating world of the 1976 Roosevelt dime, a coin that looks common but could secretly be worth up to $343,000 due to extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and rare die anomalies that have turned it into a collector's dream. Now, the 1976 Roosevelt dime may appear just like any other 10-cent coin minted for circulation, with the familiar profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the beloved 32nd President of the United States, on the obverse, and the torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. However, what sets this particular coin apart is not its appearance to the casual eye, but the extremely rare characteristics hidden within the details of its minting process, which experts and collectors now hunt with intense scrutiny. Minted during the American bicentennial era, the 1976 Roosevelt dime holds historical significance, yet it's not just the patriotic timing of its release that makes it valuable, it is the presence of highly unusual errors, particularly mint mark anomalies, planchet issues, double dies, off-center strikes, and no-S-proof errors that contribute to its astonishing worth in today's collector's market. Normally struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each mint produced millions of these coins. However, a small number escaped quality control with peculiar and extremely rare characteristics that would later make headlines at auctions and coin conventions. The most infamous and highly sought after among them is the 1976 Roosevelt dime with the missing S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint, an error so rare that only a handful of examples are known to exist, and one of them recently fetched an incredible $343,000 at a private auction. This coin was originally part of a proof set, meaning it was never intended for general circulation and was instead struck using specially prepared dies and polished planchets to ensure a mirror-like finish for collectors. When a dime appears in such a set without the expected mint mark, it indicates a catastrophic error occurred during production. Specifically, a mint employee either failed to stamp the die with the S mark or accidentally used a die without it. That seemingly minor omission transformed an otherwise ordinary coin into a priceless artifact of numismatic history. Other contributing factors to the 1976 dime's value include dramatic double die obverse errors, where the inscription, Liberty, the motto, In God We Trust, or Roosevelt's facial features appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. These doubled images are clearly visible under magnification and are highly prized for their rarity. Another known anomaly includes off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly centered on the coin, with portions of Roosevelt's face on one side. The more dramatic the off-center strike, especially with more than 50% of the design missing, the more valuable the coin becomes, particularly if the date and mint mark are still fully visible. Yet another rare type of error found on some 1976 Roosevelt dimes is known as a clipped planchet, in which a portion of the coin is literally missing due to an improperly punched blank planchet. Such coins, when genuine, fetch high prices from collectors who cherish these oddities as relics of minting imperfection. But perhaps the most mysterious and lucrative of them all is the wrong planchet error, where a dime is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, such as a penny or a foreign coin, resulting in a coin with incorrect weight, coloration, and diameter. These mismatched planchet errors are often discovered only when collectors or graders notice a strange weight difference or unusual metal composition through detailed testing. Add to that a potential combination of errors, like a double die on a wrong planchet with a missing mint mark, and you have the recipe for a numismatic masterpiece that can break records. Now, let's dive into how such errors happen in the first place and why they are so rare. The United States Mint, while a model of efficiency and quality control, is not immune to human error. During the production of proof coins at the San Francisco Mint, meticulous processes are followed, yet in very few cases, these methods falter, especially